Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sales Beast podcast. This is a very, very special one. We're here today with Beau Spencer. Beau is one of my mentors, someone I look up to a lot, someone I spend a ton of time with, and we work side by side, I guess you can say. So Beau runs all my accountability meetings. He's there for me whenever I need support and guidance, and for that I'm very grateful. So Beau, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so Beau, tell me a little bit about, I don't know really that much about you and what you're up to before you got into business. I know you've been in the business for quite some time. What were you doing before you kind of entered mine and Anna's world?
Sure. I came out of college. I coached, I played and coached hockey coming out of college and university, and I got into policing. When I was in school, I was taking policing. Got into policing. I was a special constable for 6 years in Toronto and then in Oakville, Halton area. Basically driving paddy wagon around, picking up and dropping off prisoners, doing those sorts of things. And I kind of got tired of the commute, and it was kind of like, hey, one step to your job, and there wasn't, hey, for the rest of my life, am I okay with making this amount of money? And growing up before that, my dad was a builder, and I worked through university, college, framing and building houses and doing a lot of construction work. So I always loved the housing industry, and I got back into that for, I would probably say, a good 6-7 years of doing basement and bathroom renovations. I sold my company when I got my real estate license. I found I was putting on my work boots, kind of two hats, changing in the car, putting on a suit, showing houses. Some of the crews that we had forgetting some materials or needing more materials, I put my boots back on, go and drop things off. And I just thought, this is crazy. And I really sat down and thought about where I wanted to be. And even just 20 years, do I want to be lugging drywall around, or where's the career path I wanted? And I think the future for me was still in housing and in real estate. I was able to get to both the best worlds, or two of the best of both worlds, I guess, on, working in the knowledge factor that I had, and then working with people and kind of leading them to transactions and dealing with buying and selling real estate and a lot of investment properties. At that point, I joined a team. I was on a team for a few months, and then I went out and ventured on my own. That's kind of where I met Sandy. We were on the same team back then. And then throughout that, I started my own team. And I think I got up to about 6 agents and 2 admin at one point. And that brought me into MRN as an expansion partner first, kind of the guinea pig for expansion and the growth of MRN side of things. And then obviously seeing from an ops standpoint, some of the things on my expectations in the non-investment world, whether luxury or referral and client care and those sorts of things, I think are a little bit more important in kind of everyday real estate versus investment real estate. Most investors are pretty savvy investor numbers people, and they don't necessarily even need to see properties. If the numbers work and make sense, they can purchase a property. And if the best deal comes along, they're going to purchase and go ahead and do that. Whereas luxury and referral real estate, someone that, maybe brother, sister, family members are purchasing a home, what's that look like and how can we better take care of them? So that got me into the ops side of basically my role now. So COO of MRN, looking after day-to-day activities from an ops standpoint. Probably the best way to describe that is just holding everyone accountable and giving people opportunities to grow into roles that they're passionate about, whether that's in transaction coordination, marketing, our ops team in response to ISA and communications department, and client care, obviously. So that leads us to where we are today. So obviously I lead that part of it. And honestly, I just use my experience and try and assist people to give them the best they can do every day.
What a great message. And thank you for sharing that, Beau. We've both gotten to know you quite well over the past couple of years, and obviously having you as part of our team has allowed us to succeed in many different ways. So we're very grateful to have you on today. Now, what would you say, looking back, would you credit some of the things that led you to be where you are today, whether it's like the leadership side, or I guess the team building side. How do you feel like you ended up in the spot that you are today?
I think passion for leadership. Like I don't know. My friends would laugh because I don't really take direction well. That's kind of growing up, that was kind of always a thing. I always had my own ideas, and I always wanted to, add on to someone else's idea potentially. And a lot of that came through sport, I think, being a leader, a captain, a coach, mostly through hockey and other sports. I would say that's really driven me to be from the real estate side of things. I really loved when I was fully engaged in selling, buying, investing, especially with clients. Now I just think my passion's gone towards, hey, how can I help other people? And a lot of that comes to just leadership. Before we came on the air here, I know we were chatting briefly, but a lot of it is asking questions, giving people opportunities. How can I make them better? How can we assist? I think that's really where my passion lies now, is making people around me better. A lot of times people talk about leadership and they go into, okay, follow me and this is what I want you to do. I like to think of empowering people to make decisions, empowering people to, kind of guide and be role models for those around them, and just create better lives for the people around them. And I think, this platform allows me to do that. I talk with agents kind of day to day. I talk with our ops, kind of from a leadership team perspective on, a lot of it is we put people in places to succeed. I'm not great at doing ops, to be completely honest. I'm like, from a real estate standpoint, I'm not a great administrative staff person on, hey, this is what I want to happen. However, we hired somebody that's really great at providing client care, hired somebody that's really great and goes beyond and above and beyond for leading a marketing team. They know what they're supposed to do. So to me, it's not, hey, here's my idea, go run with it. I love to assist and give people some direction and guidance on, hey, from my experience, this is what people would look for. But I think putting people in the right place and allowing them the freedom to make mistakes, to grow and make decisions, is probably where the passion lies for me, for sure.
Is that always, I've noticed with you, you're far from a micromanager. I think you ask very good questions and allow people to self-discover. And then from there, you tend to let people move in whatever direction they feel is best. Is that something you've always been able to do?
No, I don't think so. I think when I first got in real estate and starting the team, when my mindset shifted from, hey, just being an everyday agent, or what I like to call salesperson, because really that's what you are if you're not really thinking at a higher minded level of real estate. You go out and you sell houses, and your next house you make some money, and then you go out and sell another house and you make some money. At some point, I think real estate changed into really becoming a small business. You're a business owner. So as an agent, you got to start thinking about dollars and how much money you're spending and how much money you're reinvesting into your business so that it can really flow and go off on its own. I think once that happened for me, I think I was probably like a lot of us, probably somewhat egotistical, somewhat I know what I'm doing, selling 50, 60, 70 houses a year. You're doing something right from a sales point, but from a business point, if you're not getting referral businesses and you're working and you're around the clock and those type of things. So when that happened, I think that's where I was like, okay, I hired admin, my first admin, and really, probably shockingly to me, it's like they knew more about administrative stuff than I did. And then it just became the mindset shift of, why did I hire an admin staff? Is it so that, hey, they can just take on some of the things I didn't want to do? Or did I hire them to make me better and make my team better? And as soon as that mind shift happens where, hey, I'm allowing the person the freedom to make my team better, whether that's, just an administrative staff, or if you go as deep as in specializing in your admin team, like we here at MRN do, the freedom to make mistakes is probably the biggest one. There's a lot of people out there that are leaders, and you're going to get pounded on for when I say that, they're not going to like it. They're potentially going to fire you because you made a mistake or made a big mistake. And probably the simple message that I kind of get across in this role is, I would rather you make a mistake and make a decision than not make one or make the wrong one. If you make a wrong mistake and you made the decision, I just think like there's the growth standpoint right from there is, you go and you search out the right answers. If we don't know the right answers, we find them. That's our role in an ops standpoint is the agent is really our client from an ops perspective. And we allow them to do the best they can do. And that's negotiating contracts and getting in front of people. If you don't have a staff behind you or an ops team behind you that can do that and make people better, and you have someone that's just, hey, every single time they need to come and say, hey, Beau, is this the right decision? Or, hey, can we do this? I don't think it allows the team to grow as fast as it would be able to grow. We can go, kind of astronomical speed with everybody empowered to make decisions, and then come back and collectively kind of go with a vision. What's our vision? Where are we going to go? And then allow those people to make decisions that get us there towards our vision. And hey, guess what? Every day somebody's going to make a mistake, or weekly something happens, and it's just a conversation around, hey, okay. And I don't tell them what the right answer is. A lot of the times it's like, what would you have done differently? And the simple answer is, well, maybe I should have done this or I should have done that. And they seek to understand on what and how they can grow and how they can better the team. It's probably one of the biggest messages on our team, I think, is, opportunity and growth, and the ability to make decisions and not feel like you're at a job. That's my biggest thing. I know you're not answering this question fully, but that's my biggest thing is I don't want anyone to feel like they're coming to a job where it's a 9 to 5, clock in, clock out, and move on. This is, hey, get your job done, do it to the best you can. And if that means you're done at 3 and you can get home, great. If it means you're here till 6 because you're putting in the extra time to make things better, then that's awesome too.
I think that's a big testament to the culture of MRN and like what has been created over the past, 4 or 5 years. Obviously the start was very small, but we've grown so excessively, especially even just this year. And it's all because of the culture. Like we would not be able to grow if the culture was toxic or people feel like they didn't belong, or, the just stuff was not getting done. So obviously we have happy agents. We've got, hopefully happy clients as well. And it's all due to the hard work of the ops team at MRN.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a big part of it. And I think they're passionate. I think the ops team that we have in place right now is passionate about creating an environment that, hey, our clients love the whole process of selling and buying real estate. And our agents love the process of, hey, listen, I can get in front of people and do what we like to do. There's not a whole lot of agents out there that there's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of processing, within the real estate industry. Like everyone signed mortgage documents, or most people that are in real estate. They bought a house. They know how much paperwork's involved and how much transactionally things happen. To have that ops team completely take off a lot of those procedures and processes, I think allows everybody from the ops team and from the agents just to be more successful, period.
And one thing I've noticed about, I would say, you and most leaders within our organization, you guys get out of the way. If you look at most teams, that so-called rainmaker is at the helm, and it's always going to be their show. Where I think leaders within our organization, they step out of the way and let those that work so-called with underneath them take off and rise. And the level of opportunity here, it's really unlimited because you do that. Why is it that you look at that differently than maybe some other teams?
I just think the vision, obviously Sandy's a big thinker. I think I go hand in hand with him more from an accountability standpoint. I think you put both those things together, a vision and accountability to get there. When I always revert back to like, hey, a sports team, why is Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid the best hockey players in the world? They're the best hockey players in the world, not because they were born with the best skill. That's part of it, but they're also the hardest working players. So when you combine the best skill with the hardest working, there's a reason there's a gap between the top 3-4 NHL players and then the next 15 to 40. There's this, and it's not just a little gap. Like you go from the top 5 players in the NHL to get to 6, that 6th and 5th player, there's a huge difference. So when you have a vision that's been created by Sandy and myself and some of the, when we say leaders, I mean team leads, everyone kind of has a voice in the direction we want the company to go. Not everybody thinks on the same level like that in real estate. And I think the biggest thing is that mindset on, propelling the team, propelling the staff and the agents. Like, what is your next opportunity? Everybody's worked in a job where, you've made a certain amount of money, and you take a teacher. My wife's a teacher. You're going to make your $100,000. What are you going to do to make $200,000 as a teacher? And not that that's a bad job. It's just from a mindset and theory standpoint, not all of us think like that. But to be able to have a job where you can make unlimited and infinite amount of money based on how hard you work or the time and effort you put into something or how good you are at it, that's what I think attracts people. And then now we talk a lot about limitless ceiling, and within our organization, there's a limitless ceiling. I'm not holding somebody back from a certain job because they're really good at it. So right now we have Jade in our operations and marketing team. She's phenomenal at what she does. I don't want her to leave ops and marketing to a certain standpoint because she's so good at it. But we make our world bigger. Sandy makes our world bigger. The team, individuals on our team make our world bigger. And that allows Jade to think bigger and become potentially something even bigger. Does she want to run a team one day? Does she want to start something bigger within her passion for whether it's real estate or something else? I'm never going to hold somebody back from reaching their potential or reaching what their passion is for, whether it's in real estate or whether it's something else. I mean, Anna's a perfect example of that too. I mean, she started as an admin and moved to different positions, and then now she has a position obviously at Legacies that she's one of their main leaders there. Without the thought process and the vision of where we want to go and the opportunities we want to provide, most of the decision making on a higher level is based on, hey, how can we get that person to be, how can we create a better life for that person? And a lot of teams pay their admin staff $35,000, $30,000, and that's it. And there's no other opportunity to move on. We want everybody on our team to make or think about making, whether it's 100,000 or to own investment property or to go on a vacation maybe they thought they've never been able to go on because they couldn't afford it.
I have such a good example of that. You and I were sitting in an interview with someone to bring them onto the team. I think it was on the admin side. I can't remember exactly who it was, but you asked them, like, how much money did you make last year? And they said like 35, 40 grand, whatever. And then you asked them, are you okay with that? And they were like, I don't know, like I would like to make closer to 60, or I'd like to make closer to 70. And you're like, okay, like what if you could double that? Would you be happy with that? And honestly, like you could be happy with that, or maybe they want more. And I think that's what this process is of leadership and like creating strategic partnerships to help people understand that there's more opportunities that they ever thought could be out there for them.
Yeah, it's definitely a mindset. I mean, I think even to add on to that, I think we've gone through interview processes where what's your salary expectation is the question. And the question was, I'd really like to make 30 grand. No offense to anyone that makes 30 grand and they work really hard for their money. To me, I don't think from a mindset, from a leader and from a vision standpoint, 30 grand is basically below poverty line, as many people would understand that. You can hardly afford to go out for a burger and a drink at that price point right now with bills and rent, where rents are currently in Hamilton. I mean, and I think we left the interview and I said, I don't think I'd want to hire them because I don't think they're thinking, they're so capped on, hey, if I made 30 grand, that's all I ever need to make. where we want to grow that mindset to, hey, listen, I want to make 60. Okay, what if I told you you can make 120? Okay, great. Okay, what if I told you you can make 240? Most people don't ever think like that. And I think it always goes to like the way a lot of us were growing up. I grew up just like that too. You drive down Lakeshore in Burlington or Oakville, for instance. Oh, those people got lucky. Oh, you know, they never were able to afford that without their parents making that money, or they got lucky in life. I think I changed my mindset on, I don't think they ever got lucky in life. I think at some point somebody worked really hard or took a chance, you know, or risked something and were rewarded for what they did and what they, and that kind of goes back to your question and answer here is, you know, there's no cap on what you can do. If for anyone that has kids and are listening to this, I mean, we teach our kids from an early age, you can do whatever you want, you put your mind to it. Why do we get into a job as adults and then think like, hey, this is my life?
I feel like somewhere down the line, people forget that.
Yeah, right. Like you can do anything you want. It's going to take time and effort and sacrifice, but there's a lot of opportunities for people out there to make a lot of money, and maybe not even money. Maybe their passion is, hey, I want to go and live in Belize at the age of 40. You can do it. It's just, we draw out the path to help you get there. And I think that's one of the big things is like, again, you know, the vision, the creation of that, and then allowing to people to, you know, bring their talents and succeed at a really high level. It just creates so much growth and opportunity. And not only that, like it changes their lives. It changes their lives.
At what point in your life did you have the mindset shift from, I guess, your typical person, like the teacher example you gave, where you're capped at 100 grand a year, to life is limitless and whatever I want, I can get?
Honestly, I'd probably say about 5 years ago. 5 years ago was a huge, probably a mental shift for me from thinking investment properties, thinking, hey, where do I want my life to go, direction. I kind of just lived kind of off, hey, is there money in the bank account? Do you want to go on a vacation? Awesome. Sold a house. Awesome. Where do you want to go? You want to go to a bar? You want to celebrate? What are we going to do? And like everybody, you live that roller coaster life of, hey, I have income coming in and then I don't have anything for a month or so. Now I have income coming in. What are we going to do with it? And really, I think, you know, in conversation with Sandy, a lot of it came to just a mind shift of, you know, I thought Keller Williams was a lot of Kool-Aid drinking, you know, rah kind of material. But I started going to the events that Keller Williams hosts, Mega Camp and Family Reunion and Coaching Skills Camp. And I coach kids hockey. So I do a lot of coaching clinics because I'm passionate about it. And then I started reading. That's probably one of the biggest ones, is reading and listening to Audible and listening to all the other successes of better thinkers than myself. People that had, you know, clear destination point of where they wanted their life to go. And I think, you know, probably at that point, I thought about investment properties. Even as a realtor, I never had any, you know, and I would say I'm pretty successful from an investment side of real estate based on just gaining the knowledge and power to go out and do it. I think we're all afraid a little bit of the risk. I think we're all preconditioned to, you know, let's take a variable and a fixed mortgage rate. You know, over the last 10 years, you're probably way better off to take a variable mortgage rate, but we're conditioned to take a fixed rate because it's not risky and it's the same price every month. That's kind of the same path that I was probably on when I had finally decided that, like, you know what, the decisions we make lead to our path. Not all of us have had great upbringings. From a family perspective, there's a lot of people out there. And if you think about that and you're in a, you know, not a great home situation, etc., you can continue to lead that life and lead that cycle, or you can, in my personal opinion is, or you can stop and make a decision that's going to change things and make it better. So I think at that point, that's where I've come to the decision is, moving forward, these are the things I want for my family. These are the things I want for myself. a clear direction on my future, when I want to retire, what I want to do. And then the big why was probably the final contributing factor. I have 5 kids. I don't want to limit their potential on anything. That's probably one of the biggest things I do. What I do is to be able to say yes to them. If they're going to put their time, effort, and they're going to work hard at what they're doing, I don't want to have to say no based on financing or based on conditions that I put myself and my family in. So all those put together, I think, contributed to forming a plan, forming the mindset of, hey, like I said, we can do anything we want and we put our mind to it and we work hard at doing it. It's not easy. Can be simple, but it's never easy. And it's about going out and executing and again, here at MRN, like leading all the people around. I think that mindset is probably, between everybody here, the globally, I think, that whole mindset is a shift in people's minds where it's like, hey, I can do this, and the limitless opportunity within that.
When are you retiring?
I was gonna ask the exact same question.
My retirement age that I have, when I say retire, is like I want to be able to
financially free.
Yeah,
right?
Financially free. I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. My wife will laugh at that, but that's my friends have said that I do what I want to do when I want to do it. It's
You already do that.
You do that already.
Not
Golf
always
every
positive.
Friday.
It's not always positive for sure, but 50 is my number. I think being on track for just doing other things that I'm passionate about and not necessarily real estate, and having income, whether it's through passive income that's generating itself and creating wealth. I think 50 is my age. I'm 42. I know I look older than that, but I'm 42 and I have 8 years. That's my plan, to have that path where I can, if I want to pick and choose what I want to do for work, or if I want to pick up something that I'm passionate about, financially, I'll be able to afford that. If everything goes as planned, and so far so good.
Where are you going to take this company in the next 8 years?
You're taking all my questions.
The next 8 years, I think there's lots of opportunity with expansion. I think there's lots of opportunity within growth model in Canada. Expansion is huge in the States. I think we're just kind of, scratching the surface on opportunities within Ontario, within Canada. I'd love to see us bring on some big teams from an ops perspective. I think today, if you were to ask me where we are from a year ago, I think our team is no better. I shouldn't say no better. Our team is the best it has ever been, with all the people that have left fingerprints on different things and brought different knowledge and expertise. Where we are now and where we can go. If teams out there are looking to expand and grow, or individual agents are looking to go through this, honestly, I think even as an individual agent, I mean, when you get an admin, you kind of realize like, oh, okay, this makes my job easier. And then you get another admin, or you hire a marketing coordinator. All those processes here are completely done for you. So for me, just putting people in place, getting people in place, so this continues to run like a well-oiled machine. If I'm away for a month or 2 months or 3 months, no one knows. And why is because the people in place can make decisions. If something goes wrong, it's corrected. If they don't know the answers, they find it. If someone values something for them, there's custom plans to make sure that what their passion or what their niche in the real estate market is created, and automation and the plans that are in place just creates that much better opportunity for the team. So this isn't a sales pitch by any means, but where I want this team to go is that I just want to be efficiently self-running, well-oiled machine. We're really good at what we do. And the staff that we have in place is why that is. Almost 90% of it is because of what they do.
And what's your vision? Do you think you'll continue kind of more on the leadership route, or do you want to step back into production?
No, I think I think from a production standpoint, I think I'm done with the kind of grind of everyday real estate. Like I said before, my passion is coaching, just mentorship. I think that's the vision, whether in real estate or whether in sport. I think something in that kind of world would be ideal for me. If you were to ask me, hey, if everything's all set and I'm 50 and financially, I would love just to coach hockey and mentor other coaches and grow that side of it. But along with that, I really have a passion too for just making other agents better. Just, we talk about that from an accountability side, asking questions and allowing them to see what growth potential they have. Those are the things that I think where I fall into play is if, everything was working well and complete here, that's my next probably vision and opportunity for myself is to go that route.
What would you say was, because we were talking about this before, and I know we talked about it during the beginning a little bit, but what would you say helped you get better at coaching and asking great questions? Because that is one of your ultimate talents. And, for the people that want to get better at coaching or want to know how to have great conversations and ask great questions, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I think
he wouldn't tell them anything.
He would ask questions.
Yeah, right. It's honestly self-awareness and coming to the conclusion yourself really allows the people around you to grow. If Mike comes to me and asks me a question on, hey, what would you do here? A lot of the times it's, well, let's walk through this from the start. Like, give me a scenario and we're going to walk through this. Okay, great. It's never great for a leader or for someone that's in a leadership position to just give the answer. What would Mike learn, for instance, if he just came to me and said, hey, how should I do this? Okay, Mike, go do this. Right? Like, for me, it's like, hey, come up with the answer. Like, a lot of it is, like a lot of things we pick, whether it's parenting or many other things in the world, you may pick little things. Think of your friend group. Everybody has their own personalities. Everybody has, strengths and weaknesses. If you were to ideally to grow your child, you would take all the strengths from all the people around you that you surround yourself with and give them to your one child, right? Because you want them to be a well-rounded person, athlete, whatever it is that they're passionate about, you want them to be very well-rounded. I take that and I take it into mentorship and leadership within team leads and even in the ops department when, people may be having struggles within a relationship or they're having struggles within the department. All those things come into play. There's tons of personality involved. Everybody learns differently. Everybody grows differently. The passion for answering and asking questions, I think honestly comes with failure. I've been through a lot of different, growing a team, having an admin not work out, hiring a buyer's agent, hiring a listing specialist, and going through the ups and downs. People leave for different reasons. Some people think it's greener on the other side of the fence. Other people, the personalities don't mesh or things just may not work out. I'm always of the opinion that, like, we're in this together. We knock on the door. I'm probably the direct approach. Like, if you ask me anything, I kind of give you an answer. I don't really hold back. I said that there's really I'm kind of an open book, and I shouldn't say kind of, I am. People ask me questions, I give you an answer. But a lot of times when it comes to, hey, how to do this, when we talk about that leadership thing, I definitely think allowing them to self-discover on what the answers are, even whether you're an agent or you're a team lead or an ops, I think they just grow into more of a leader and they make other people around them better. And a lot of times just through questions, a lot of people will answer their own questions and self-discover whether, hey, I've been doing this right, or I've been doing this wrong, or I should correct this or make this system better, just based on asking, hey, sometimes you get in a mindset where you're kind of straightforward thinking and blinders on, and having an outside person kind of just say, hey, what about this? Or what about that? Did you ask this? Rather than, a lot of times you go to a leader and it's like, hey, what should I do? And then you get that answer. That kind of job drives up really quick, because last thing you want is someone telling me what to do all the time, especially in this business. Most people get into real estate to have some sort of entrepreneurial skill, because that's, it's kind of free. I can do what I want. Nowadays, teams are very big in the real estate world. So you need to allow for growth. And a lot of that comes with, hey, you still have your entrepreneurial skill. I'm here to guide you and make you better. But at the end of the day, you're the one that's still, dependent on the way you're leading and the way you're doing things. People are going to stay with you, or they're going to leave. We talk about that. The same reason they come to you, the same reason they'll leave. Right? It's a big value prop, right?
For sure.
I heard you, sorry.
The last thing I was just going to say, we do this all the time. We always talk over each other. But the last thing I was going to say, sometimes like when someone's coming to you as a leader, all they're looking for is just like a validation as to like they're doing the right thing. And then eventually you give them enough independence that they don't need to do that anymore, just by, guiding them in the right way.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I mean, there's so many times like where it's like, do you care? Do you care? In when I say that, hey, Beau, here's like something, just generality. Hey, Beau, what do you think we should do for this? I was thinking this. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, do it. Well, you're not gonna stop me. No, just go do it. Like, do you think, from a marketing perspective, do you think it's going to work? Yeah. What are the reasons you think it's going to work? Okay. A lot of times I'm like, well, then why are you asking me? You're in charge of this. Right. And well, don't you care which way it goes? No, I'm more here. I want to know if it's going to succeed, or I want to know what's going to fail. And if it fails, I just want to ask you questions on what you would do differently and how would you improve it. And I think that mentality is like what we talked about earlier, is if everybody can make those decisions and move, and we have my job is to put the right people in place. If we have the wrong people in place, it's a people issue and not a system issue. It's okay. How can we correct it? There may be other opportunities. This job may not be for one person that we've hired. Maybe we have a different department or a different spot within many of the organizations that we create within our organizations. That may be a better fit for them. We've had people leave our team and go join a different company that's a sub company of what we do, because they're a better fit there. And I think, it always goes back to, how can this self-run? We shouldn't need somebody to be like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. It's more, hey, Beau, this isn't working properly. And sure, the agents may come with an issue and another agent comes with the same issue and we get a third issue. Okay, obviously there's a system breakdown. How do we put somebody in place that is making the right decisions? And it's not because they've made a wrong decision. It's just basically, hey, they're not able to make a decision. And if they can't make a decision, that's the time we know, like, hey, they're just not growing into being self-sufficient. One of the big things is efficiency for me. I don't like people that aren't efficient. Like, common sense kind of prevails in a lot of situations. If something goes wrong, we talked about this a lot. Why did it go wrong? How do you improve it? I'm not here to pick up your pieces. You need to pick up your pieces. I'm just here to tell you that, hey, listen, I'm here to support you. How can I help you grow?
Yeah. So I was just checking you weren't going to say anything, Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah, you created a pretty cool little world here from an agent perspective. I think at this point, the opportunity literally is unlimited. Can you just share with us what it looks like for an agent that's maybe on our team or just joining our team now, in transactional real estate? How do they grow, and what is that next big opportunity for them?
Yeah, I think one thing to touch on too on all of that, like within team members joining our team, is it's the cultural side of things. You know, MRN's gone from very transactional to culturally like, hey, we're kind of big family. We're all rooting for each other. We share each other's successes. We help pick each other up when, you know, business isn't always rosy. I mean, sometimes people are struggling. You have someone to pick you up and put you back together and give you the confidence to go out there and be successful. For agents joining our team and for new agents that we have on our team, you can be an agent. A lot of times the agents on our team, I think Sandy and I talked about this. I think we average new agents on our team average between $120,000 and $130,000 a year in their first year in real estate on our MRN team. We have agents that have been in the business just over a year that have led into past where they've sold over 30 homes in their first year. They have a track record of success, not only in real estate, but in past experiences in life that they've come to MRN with. And we've given them the opportunity to now become their own team within a team, and a team within a team. So three sections of that. Sounds confusing for the average realtor, but think about that. You can come in as just a regular realtor. When I say regular, just buying and selling and transacting in real estate. We generally don't have listing and buying specialists. They learn real estate full round, because I think a well-rounded realtor, a lot of agents fall into a niche that they like. They like either buying or selling. Some people like it, just listing homes, and some like just buying homes, sorry. And then once they get that experience under their belt, 30 transactions is probably 3 years worth of real estate for a lot of realtors. They're gaining that in 1 year. Now they can have potential to mentor and be a team lead within their team, within the team structure. They can, everybody has a different opinion on what value for a team and different niches. So that can be, hey, I want to sell luxury real estate. I just want to go into investment real estate. Maybe I want to do, multi volume. I want to sell over 100 houses a year. Mike, as you know, and you're kind of learning and living proof of, someone that's come in and did 50 deals in their first year, 50 plus deals. And then your second year, you're kind of on the same path. And here we want you to lead and become a team leader. And what's that look like for wealth perspective? And not only that, team growth. And there's kind of limitless opportunities. If they want to go into an ops department and lead a team, they can. If they, want to fully do something else in real estate or come with an idea on, we've had realtors that have created cleaning companies. We've had marketing companies created from realtors. It's kind of limitless on the growth potential. The other part of it is creating generational wealth for them within real estate. Are they investing in real estate? We talk it all the time within our team. A lot of them, we have 19-year-old that's probably going to make 100 grand this year. How many 19-year-old friends do you think he has that make 100 grand? Not very many. None. Probably none, right? How many 19-year-olds do you know that own 3 investment properties and make 100 grand a year? Those are the things that like I'm most proud of, is like, hey, the opportunity and the growth. And that 19-year-old, let's just use that as an example. I won't say who it is, but like we've had past 20-year-olds that have 4 or 5 investment properties and then have gone on and said, hey, like this isn't really for me. I really like the money you make, but I want to be passionate about this. Man, you're 20 years old. Go for it. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Come back in 5 years. If you don't like what you're passionate about and going out and learning and going back to school to try and be successful at that, come back, because you can be successful here. And I know that's long-winded, but being 20 years old or being 30 years old, a lot of times your 80 grand is kind of a really good job. 60 grand is a good job, but being able to bring wealth to them based on real estate knowledge, whether it's personal, buying and selling real estate, or teaching them how to track wealth, to create wealth. Again, confusing term, but if I can talk to them about what's important to them and where they want to be, and buying investment property or going on a vacation that maybe they thought they couldn't afford, and now changing them and maybe their partner's life or even their family's life, having older parents, for instance, hey, why don't you move in? Now I can afford this bigger house. I can help take care of you. Those sorts of things are what I love. I love sharing those because, we all take care of each other, but a lot of it is just shared knowledge to make everybody better. And as soon as that spreads, it's like wildfire. I mean, everybody starts getting a piece of all of this, and now we're talking about and acting on what the vision is.
Awesome. Well, I know we're close to the hour here. Is there any kind of last words or last comments that you want to leave us with today, Beau?
Yeah, I think when we come, full circle and we talk, leadership is probably one of the biggest ones for leaders out there that are kind of directional and micromanagers. I think the biggest thing to turn and have people loyal and want to hang around and be part of a successful network like what we have. We've touched on a lot of these topics. But empowering your people is probably a big one. Creating opportunity is probably a second one, and then kind of putting your money where your mouth is, if you so to speak, on your actions. You need to not just talk it. You need to walk it. You need to lead by example, and you need to go out there and show people how to be successful, but at the time empower them to make decisions to be successful. That's probably the biggest lost opportunity, where people in powerful positions or in leadership positions fail. They want people to be them. We don't hire people to be us or be ourselves. We hire them because they are who they are. And I think once you get past that and you see that, and you empower somebody that has a specialty in something to do that, that's where they get the freedom and the power to be successful. And not only that, I find they're more passionate about it. They're coming up with the idea, they're putting it forth and then seeing it. It's like building a house. If you've ever built something and then you see the finished product, there's self-rewarding on like, hey, I've done this and I've created this. And I think empowering people in positions to be successful is probably one of the biggest takeaways that I've learned, and I've probably learned to be good at. And in saying that, there's a lot of things and a lot of failures we've made along the way, even here at MRN and even past experiences. I think it just makes you better. It's how you react. And I know I was talking to Sandy about this the other day, and I'll end on this. It's not, we all get these thoughts. It's what we do with the second thought, right? And a lot of times people in position, they get that first thought, and the second thought's not always a good one. If the second thought is, hey, what would you have done, and what would you do differently, and how would you do it better? How are you going to make it better? Those are the things that empowers teams to lead to success. And people pour their passion into it. They truly want, like, I feel our ops team they're truly wanting our agents to be successful. They're truly wanting the people that we're selling and buying houses for to have an incredible experience, right? It's rewarding for them to hear that the whole process was amazing. Anna, when you were fully on the team in communications and doing that sort of role, how many times do we talk about we love to get a Google review just based on the team? Because before it was, hey, Beau Spencer, the realtor, or Mike Johnson, the realtor, they did a great job for me. I would say 95% of our reviews now on Google, or people when they're talking about are talking about our team. The process was amazing. The team, from start to finish, from marketing to the coordination to client care, to having somebody there every step of the way. That's probably the biggest thing is that's where we are now. We're a successful team based on having all the right people in place that are passionate and pour their hearts into making sure that every step of the way our agents and the people we serve are at the top of mind.
Definitely. I shared a message in our Slack the other day where an agent had reached out to another leader in our organization and basically gave us a huge compliment on how everyone's involved in the process. Not even just Sandy, like Sandy's involved, but it's not really about him. It's about the team and everyone involved and the players and how to help you grow overall. So I think that was awesome. And obviously it's shining through. So again, thanks so much, Beau, for your time. We know you're busy golfing. So thanks for showing up today. There's just one final question that we ask all of our guests that we're going to ask you is, who do you know that we should have on the podcast?
Who do you know that we should have on the podcast?
Yes.
You know what? I think I have a friend, his name's Andy McEachern. He's out in Toronto, but he does a ton of cottage properties. I was out actually seeing a cottage property yesterday, and that's why it's top of mind. He's out in the Kawarthas, but I think he does a phenomenal job with, cottage investment style properties, Airbnb, people that are thinking about secondary residences, etc. In cottage country. You should reach out to him and just get his experience on what that process is like. I know, in talking to him, like he takes people out on the boat, takes them for the tour of the lakes. It's kind of a different thought process, but what he does from a client kind of appreciation and client care perspective on taking people and going above and beyond. I can reach out after and give you his name, but he's on a team out in Toronto, and I know he loves to work in the Kawartha area, so you can reach out to him anytime.
For sure, yeah, we'll get that info. Thanks again, Beau. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, guys.